All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Today, we're tackling a topic that's both kind of complex and super relatable.
Yeah,
Sacrifice.
sacrifice, something we all deal with, right?
Absolutely. We got a ton of interesting sources from you guys on this one, so we're going to try to unpack it all together.
Sounds good to me.
One of the things that really struck me was this quote, "Sacrifice is the bridge between dreams and reality." Like, whoa.
That's a powerful one. Really gets you thinking.
Right. So let's start with the basics. What does it even mean to sacrifice something?
I think a lot of people think of sacrifice as just giving something up like it's a loss.
Yeah, that's my initial reaction too.
But the sources we looked at, they emphasize that it's more about a conscious exchange.
An exchange. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about that.
So instead of focusing on what you're giving up, you think about what you're gaining in return. You're choosing to forego something in the present, maybe something comfortable or enjoyable, for something that you believe will be more valuable in the future.
So it's like a trade-off, kind of like
Mm.
investing, right? You put in something now, hoping for a bigger payoff later.
Precisely. And the key is that it's a deliberate choice. You're not just having something taken away from you. You're actively choosing to make that exchange.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. But doesn't it still sting a little, even if you know it's for the best?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of loss, it's real. But it's about shifting your perspective, focusing on that potential gain. One source used this amazing metaphor. They said it's like planting a seed.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you bury the seed in the ground, and in that moment, it feels like a loss, right?
You're giving up something you have in your hand.
Exactly.
Right.
But you have faith that over time, with the right care and attention, it'll grow into something much greater.
And that growth, that's the payoff for the initial sacrifice.
Exactly. It's that long-term vision that makes the sacrifice worthwhile.
This reminds me of another source that talked about planting seeds in the soil of discipline. It's like sacrifice isn't just a one-time thing. It takes continued effort.
Right. Discipline is huge when it comes to sacrifice. Staying committed to your goals, even when things get tough, when you're tempted to give up. To go back to that seed analogy,
Yeah.
it's not enough to just plant the seed. You have to water it, protect it from the elements. It takes consistent effort to see it grow.
That makes sense.
And that's where discipline comes in. It's the fuel that keeps you going.
So if we're talking about sacrifice as an investment, what are some of the returns we can expect?
Well, I think it depends on what you're sacrificing for.
Sure.
But generally speaking, we often associate sacrifice with external achievements, like getting a promotion at work, winning a competition, or achieving some kind of material success.
Makes sense. Those are often the goals we're working towards.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with those goals, but I think it's also important to acknowledge the internal rewards of sacrifice.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
So every time you choose the harder path, the path that requires sacrifice, you're not just working towards some external goal. You're also shaping your character. You're building resilience, strengthening your willpower, developing a sense of self-discipline.
So you're kind of leveling up as a person.
Exactly. And those internal qualities, they stick with you, even if the external goal doesn't work out the way you planned.
That's a really great point. It's not just about reaching the destination. It's about the journey and who you become along the way.
Exactly. And those internal transformations, they can ripple outwards, influencing other areas of your life.
It's making me wonder, though, do you think everyone's capable of this kind of sacrifice, or are some people just naturally more inclined towards it?
That's a really good question, and I don't think there's a simple answer.
Of course not. This is the deep dive.
Right. But I do think we all have the potential to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
It's just that the things we're willing to sacrifice for and the level of commitment we have, those can vary a lot from person to person.
So our individual values and motivations come into play.
Absolutely. Some people might be driven by a deep sense of purpose, like they have this burning desire to achieve a specific goal. For others, it might be more about a sense of duty to their family, their community, or even to a larger cause.
And some people might just thrive on pushing their limits, seeing what they're capable of.
Exactly. And all of those motivations are valid. It's about finding what truly resonates with you.
Wow. This whole conversation has been really eye-opening. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface, but I've already learned so much.
Me too. It's such a rich topic.
And it's made me realize that sacrifice isn't this negative thing to be avoided. It's more about making strategic investments in ourselves and the things we value most.
I love that. Strategic investment.
Right. It's not about deprivation. It's about making choices that align with our goals, both internal and external.
And sometimes those choices, they require us to let go of something good to reach for something truly great.
That's a great takeaway. So, for everyone listening out there, I'll leave you with this. What sacrifices are you making right now in your own life? And what seeds are you planting for your future? Think about it. And until next time, happy diving.
Happy